Over the past 3 weeks, I've exclusively been riding the Niner Air9 RDO test bike that I have when I go mountain biking. And I've really gotten used to it. I've done a few time trials over the past few weeks just to get used to the bike, but now is the official time trial day. And I'm going to take this thing out on a cross-country lap that's going to take about 14 or 15 minutes. I'm going to repeat it tomorrow on my RKT9. So this bike looks fast, and I can tell you it is fast, but how much faster is it than my RKT9 RDO, or is it faster? So I'm going to pick this video back up when I'm done with the lap. Okay, so the lap time on that one was 14 minutes and 32 seconds. Now that's nowhere near a PR on that section of trail, but also I am not in my season for Go Fast. That ended several months ago and won't pick up until the end of the summer. So I can say initially I have more fun on the full suspension, and that's not really a surprise. But one thing I do appreciate about this hardtail is how the front end feels. The angles and everything on this bike, the cockpit, you can really push the front end of this bike hard into corners and maintain a lot of speed. So that aspect was actually a lot of fun. I'm definitely getting more used to this hardtail, especially compared to my first ride on it. That first ride I was just like, I'm not sure about this at all, but the more I ride this, the more I get used to it, and the more I feel I can just hammer and adjust my riding style, because you got to focus a lot on getting your butt out of the saddle on rooty, rocky stuff, a lot more so than full suspension. So that's the biggest adjustment for me. I feel like I spend a lot of time and effort picking the smoothest line and adjusting my weight to get it off of the saddle. So I'm going to pick this video back up tomorrow, where I'll spend about 20 minutes getting used to the RKT9, do the same warm-up, same trail, conditions are going to be about the same, so it should be a pretty fair comparison. All right, same place, same time of day, 24 hours later on a different bike. Gonna hit it today on the RKT9. I haven't ridden this bike in over 3 weeks, and the added bonus is I just changed the oil and the fork and the shock and changed all the cables. So it's like riding a brand new bike. So I'll do the same warm up today. I even had the same breakfast, so I'm trying to keep everything as consistent as possible. So once I warm up, I'll hit the time trial loop and pick it back up after that. Before I continue my warm-up, I'm going to flip the stem. So I've been riding that Air9 RDO with the stem more flat. I've had my RKT9 with the stem up a little bit, and I realized how much I enjoy the stem being flatter, especially with the riser bar. So I pulled over to a picnic table, and I'm going to flip the stem, and then we'll continue the warm-up and do the time trial. Okay, finished the lap on the RKT9, 14:10, 22 seconds faster on the full suspension, the RKT9 RDO. And a few things that I felt on that I think contributed to the bike being faster. One is I just felt like I could stay in the saddle and crank a lot more, and I didn't have to really think about getting my weight off the saddle and almost cringing when you come up to a harsh bump. You could just fly over it. The bike just felt so smooth. I felt like I could get into my flow better with the RKT9. And also, I felt like I could brake later into corners. The braking just felt so much more controlled. And I am glad that I flipped the stem. It felt better. It felt like my traction on the front wheel was a little bit better. Now yesterday, after I cooled down for a little bit, I actually did another section. It's shorter. That time was 7 minutes and 48 seconds. So I'm gonna do the exact same thing. I'm gonna probably rest for about 10 minutes and then repeat that second lap, that second section, I should say, on this bike, and we'll see if the results are consistent. All right, so on that second segment, which again was shorter, yesterday 7:48, like I said, today on the RKT9 7:35, 13 seconds faster on that short segment. And that time I really felt like I was getting into the flow, getting used to the riding style on this bike. A couple notes. First of all, I got used to those wide handlebars really quick. It took a while to get adjusted back to these handlebars that are a little bit narrow. I think these are 730s. Also, one thing I really like about the Air9 is the little bit slacker head angle. So I'm really thinking about putting a 120 fork on the RKT9. That's going to slacken the head angle, increase the front center a little bit, make the bike feel a little bit more stable, which I like because in the corners you just feel like you can ride a little bit more aggressively. So from the testing that I've done the last couple days, I can confidently say that for my riding style on my local trails, full suspension is faster. Now, if you ride in an area where you've got a lot of sustained climbs, where you're pushing hard up those climbs and probably out of the saddle coming back down, then you may be faster on a hardtail. It's just going to depend again on, there's so many variables. So my recommendation is try to test ride both. Do the same thing I did, time yourself, try to keep the conditions the same and see which one you're faster on. So how about some of you out there? Have you done time lapse with a hardtail and a full suspension? I'd love to know in the comments below what your results are. Any other questions or comments that you have, drop those below as well. Thanks for watching.